Hello reception. I'm going to be reading a story for this week, ready for Pancake Day in the half-term holidays. And the title of my story today is Mr. Wolf's Pancakes. And the author is Jan Fernley. And I can see a big wolf with loads of pancakes. One day, Mr. Wolf was feeling hungry. He fancied some pancakes. Oh, yum, yum, he said, licking his lips at the thought of a big pile of fresh, delicious pancakes. Mr. Wolf had never made pancakes before, so he took his big recipe book down off the shelf and looked inside. Oh, but wolves can't read very well, and Mr. Wolf had trouble making sense of it, so he went to get some help from his neighbours. There's Mr. Wolf holding the book upside down. I hope one of his neighbours will help. He called on Chicken Licken, who lived next door. "Please, can you help me read this?" he asked. "No," said Chicken Licken, slamming the door in Mr. Wolf's face. Bang! Oh dear, sighed Mr. Wolf. He sat down, slowly read the book, and worked out what he needed all by himself. When he knows he needs flour, egg, and milk. Mr. Wolf looked in his cupboard for the ingredients, but he couldn't find anything he needed. "I'll go to the shop," he decided, and he settled down to write a list. But wolves aren't very good at writing, so Mr. Wolf called Wee Willie Winkie. "You're very clever," said Mr. Wolf. "Can you help me write my shopping list, please?" "No," said Wee Willie Winkie. "Go away." And he slammed his door with a bang. "There's no need to be like that," said Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf sat down and tried very hard with his writing until he had made his shopping list all by himself. Now, he needed to count his money to make sure that he had enough. But wolves aren't very good at counting. So he went to the gingerbread man for some help. "Can you help me count my money, please?" he asked politely. "No, I'm too busy to bother with you." And the gingerbread man slammed his door with a bang. So poor Mr. Wolf had to sit down and count his money. It took him a very long time, and he had to check it 3 times before it was right, but he did it all by himself. Mr. Wolf needed a basket to carry his shopping, so he called Little Red Riding Hood. "Please, may I borrow your basket?" he asked nicely. "I'm not lending my basket to you," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Now, clear off." So Mr. Wolf went to the shop without a basket. "I'll manage," he said. Oh, and there he is at the shop. Mr. Wolf went to the shop. Oh, and I can see he's got his shopping list in his hand. He looked at his list, remembered what he needed, counted his money, and carried the eggs, milk, and flour home all by himself. Now, it was time to make the pancakes. But wolves aren't very good at cooking. So Mr. Wolf called on the 3 little pigs. Please, can you help me cook my pancakes? I'll share them with you, he said kindly. No chance, said the pigs, slamming their doors. First little pig, bang. The second little pig, bang. The third little pig, bang. Mr. Wolf felt sad because nobody wanted to help him. Mr. Wolf went home and started to make the pancakes all by himself. Soon there was a huge pile of delicious pancakes on the table, all ready to eat. Now, as Mr. Wolf has been making his pancakes, a lovely smell drifted out of the kitchen. All his neighbours could smell it, and it was making them feel hungry. They wanted some pancakes too, so they decided to try their luck. So they knocked on Mr. Wolf's door. Give us some of your pancakes, they said. Why should I give any to you? Said Mr. Wolf. None of you would help me. But we'll help you eat them, said Mr. Wolf's neighbours nastily. Anyway, we're not going away until you give us some. Mr. Wolf thought very hard for a moment. There was only one decent thing to do. Oh, very well then. You'd better come in, said Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf opened the door wide and whoosh! His greedy neighbours rudely pushed him out of the way and dashed down the hall. Mr. Wolf shook his head, shrugged his shoulders, followed them into the kitchen, and when they were all in, Mr. Wolf gobbled them up. Snippety snappity! And that was the end of his unhelpful neighbours. And then, with his bulging tummy not quite full, Mr. Wolf sat down to eat his pile of pancakes. And he did all by himself. Well, there was nobody else around. See you next time, reception.
Bye.